Welcome to the FX Options Weekly Outlook, a weekly podcast series hosted by Jason Ayres, a top instructor, trader, and founder of OptionSource.net. Join Jason as he discusses the latest trends in the Forex market with a look ahead on the US dollar versus the major currencies using the most commonly used technical indicators.
Well, hi there and welcome to the ISE FX Options Weekly Outlook for May 3rd, 2010. As always, this is Jason Ayres of OptionSource.net. Let's take a look at a weekly chart of the US dollar index. This is a great way to gain some perspective as to how the US dollar has been trading against a basket of currencies. Of course, this index most heavily weighted in the euro. Now, the trend to the upside remains intact as the US dollar fights to gain further ground against most of the majors. The index pushed beyond the 82.5 focal zone before slipping back below resistance. As long as the index remains above 80, which continues to be a major support in the bigger picture, we will continue to target the 84-85 box. Let's take a look at a daily chart of the index. As was last week, we are watching for a break and a close above 82.22 to lend credibility to an extended move higher. Let's take a look at the CDD. Well, the US dollar finished last week strong against the Canadian dollar, closing once again above our 100.5 focal zone. Now, continued strengthening of the US dollar is likely to meet with resistance within this 102.5 range, and a push beyond this opens the window for a bigger picture move to the upside. Failure here is likely to yield another test of this 99.5 to 100 box. The US dollar continues to gain ground against the yen, as seen here in the ISE FX options pair value YUK. The pair slipped lower earlier last week to test support at the 93 to 93.5 focal zone, but closed the week with another test of 94. A break and a close above 94 lends credibility to an extended move higher, targeting the 95.96 box. Let's take a look at the EUI, the US dollar versus the euro. Well, the EUI tapped our 76.77 box earlier midweek before reversing back to support within the 75.5 focal zone. A bounce at 75 opens the window for an extended move higher towards 77. A break below 75 could be the start of a retracement back down to the 73.5, 74 box. Next up, the BPX. Well, the US dollar opened last week with a brief test of support at 64.5 before snapping back up as high as 66, regaining some ground against the pound. Now, the pair closed last week settling into a support zone found at 65, 65.5. Should the BPX slip below 65, we will be open to the possibility of a move down towards 63.5, 64. Now, a break above 65.5 opens the window for an extended move higher with the 67, 67.5 focal zone as a logical target to the upside. Well, the AUX continues to remain range-bound between 107 and 109 as the US dollar attempts to regain ground against the Australian dollar. Now, last Friday's bounce off of support within the 107, 107.5 focal zone is likely to retest resistance at 108.5, 109. Until we see a decisive break above 109, the trend continues to be sideways to lower, with a break below 107 suggesting an extended move down. Let's take a look at a few of our key points. First of all, the US dollar index continues to test the 82 resistance. Although the index closed off of the highs at the end of last week, the trend to the upside remains intact. The CDD is back above 101 after testing the 100 level support once again. As with last week, we need to see the pair break and hold above 102 to lend credibility to a bigger picture strengthening of the US dollar against the Canadian dollar. The YUK held support at 93 and continues to trend higher. There is some resistance at 94. A close above 94.5 opens the window for an extended move into the 95-96 box. The EUI tapped into our 76-77 box last week before slipping lower to test support within the 75-75.5 zone. If support holds here, we will be looking for an extended move targeting 77. BPX started last week with a test of support at 64.5 but quickly reversed higher. Although attempting to push higher, the pair value came to rest at the 65, 65.5 support. We need to see a break above 65.5 to support any continuation higher. The AUX continues to consolidate between 107 and 109. We need to see a break above 109 to lend credibility to any further US dollar strengthening against the Australian dollar. Until then, the trend continues to be down. And this has been your ISC FX Options Weekly Outlook for May 3rd, 2010. As always, this is Jason Ayres of OptionSource.net. Thanks for joining me here this week. We'll see you here next week.
Thank you for participating in this week's session. Please join us again next week. For trading ideas, exchange rates, webinars, news, and commentary, visit www.fxoptions.com. Become an OptionSource.net member. Visit www.optionsource.net. ISE FX options can be easily traded through all options-enabled brokerage accounts. These exchange-listed securities are cash-settled in U.S. dollars and have a European-style exercise.